I believe the left needs to be a lot less serious. And that's sort of why I launched my show, The Bituation Room. It's why I like doing comedy. I do think, and I've been in very left spaces, in organizing spaces around the anti-war movement in the early 2000s, global justice movements, Occupy Wall Street, all those kinds of movements. And I think there is trust. I've done stand-up for very activist, lefty spaces, and there's a humorlessness that I think permeates, that is palpable beyond just the left. And often there's this dichotomy or this false choice of like, either you're a perfect person who says all the right things and never fucks up and is always, for example, been down on Palestine or knew about the occupation, or you're human. You know what I mean? And if the left sets that dichotomy up, which is false, we'll fucking lose every time. And I think that's where the like cancel culture, of course, blown out of proportion, the ridiculousness, the backlash to Me Too, all that bullshit. However, we definitely on the left hold ridiculous standards and are very prickly about laughing when it's so clear when people are not punching down or like have a random joke and it's like, it's okay. You know what I mean? Just loosen up, keep the eye on the prize, on the 1%, on the fascists, on the whatever. It's okay. And again, that's not a pass for like the fucking, I'm not a flagrant fan, but like I feel like maybe Gillis falls into that.
Yeah, I feel like he's a good thing for society because he goes on Joe Rogan and is like, hey, have you heard about these kneecap guys? And like just tells him about kneecap for 20 minutes.
You should have him on.
Yeah.
No? Okay.
And then that goes out to millions and millions of listeners. That is objectively a good thing. Like that's doing more material good than someone doing stand-up for 10 people who like has perfect politics. Like,
totally.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
And some people I'm like excited about, like they've been doing stand-up forever, but like now they're like getting really popular, are like Caleb Heron and Robbie Hoffman, Stavros, of course. Like, yeah, all those people have politics that like are anti 1%, but also like sometimes they're edgy, sometimes they're offensive.
Totally. And also they're funny. Like that's the other thing is there's this like the anti-woke backlash in comedy was also a backlash and a reaction to like audiences not laughing at folks. Like Seinfeld being mad people aren't laughing at his gay king joke or whatever the hell, and you're like, no, but you just have to be a better writer.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like, sure, you could go on at a club when people are already drunk at whatever. Like, you could get paid doing that, but don't expect everyone to like you. And I think as a stand-up, we know this. I don't think we ever expect everyone to like us. Yeah. I don't think, and it's so bizarre to demand that everyone like laugh at your reactionary joke that actually doesn't really fly in the year 2026.
Sure. Well, when you're someone like Seinfeld, I feel like sometimes people are like, when I used to produce shows and sometimes we'd get like a celebrity, like someone who's on SNL, and the whole audience, it would just be packed with like their super fans and they would laugh at every single thing. And sometimes you would even like read on the comedian's face that they seem like frustrated, like, I'm trying something new, I want to know if it's actually funny or not. And so I could imagine for someone like Jerry Seinfeld, when people aren't laughing at every single thing you said, then you're like, what the hell, I'm Seinfeld.
Yep. I mean, to me, it's also a plague of like our ultra-capitalist system in the U.S. that we have around entertainment. It's basically either you're a celebrity or you're a piece of shit. Yeah. I mean, you cannot live as a middling, and I say that in a positive way, you can't live as an artist. I lived for about 5 years in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and there's just like, the first thing I noticed, I started stand-up there, the first thing that I noticed was like, oh, people are living by doing art. Yeah. They're able to pay their rent even when they didn't get a writing job or they're not super famous or they're not on TV. Like, it was like, oh, there is a an appreciation, call it bohemian, call it appreciation of the arts, call it just like people getting compensated. But like as a new comic, I would get the equivalent of like, you know, $80 for hosting a show. You would never get that in the US.
Right. Yeah.
Ever. Not even now, right? Even as a seasoned comic, you're not getting that money. So there is something about, we have to remember that other countries actually do invest in the arts. There is more of an appreciation. There's a culture of appreciating arts. And so we kind of, in the same way we feed 1%ers in the economy, we feed 1%ers in entertainment.
Yeah.
Which doesn't always lead, in fact, I think to your point, does not lead to good art.
Yeah.
When someone's like, you gotta laugh at me, because I'm famous. And it's just like, you know, or like we all know the comics who all their material is like, so I was ordering room service at my hotel in Milwaukee, and you're like, who does this fucking relate to? You're just a road dog? Nobody can relate to that.
Right, yeah. You need to watch sports and watch award shows so you at least know what everyone
or like live your life. Yeah. It's, I mean, I think if Chappelle had to be a little bit hungrier, he probably would have been a better comic.
Sure, yeah.